y'all, welcome to Lady Catherine. I'm Catherine, and today we're going to be making a Dutch baby pancake. You might call it a Dutch baby, you might call it an oven pancake, whatever you call it. It's wonderful. It's one of our favorite breakfast items, and we're going to be serving up two different ones today. The first is the first recipe I ever used to make it, recipe offline, and the other is how my husband adapted it, and we now make it all the time that way because we think it's better. And I'm also going to show you how we serve it up, flat style. That's how my husband grew up eating it, and it's a fun take on a Dutch baby. And then after that, hopefully we'll plant some snapdragons. If not today, tomorrow. And yeah, that's it. So grab yourself a cup of tea and let's get baking. I'm starting off by getting one 10-inch cast iron pan out. I'm starting with the New York Times recipe for a Dutch baby. It calls for 4 tablespoons of butter. Chop those up and put them in the pan. Now the second cast iron will be for our recipe. We'll call it the Lady Catherine recipe for now. Cut up 6 tablespoons of butter and place them in the pan. My little girl Martha Faye is helping me out today. Preheat your oven to 425 degrees Fahrenheit. Here we'll speed things up a bit. For the New York Times recipe, use half a cup of all-purpose flour, half of a cup of milk. I use 2%. Whisk thoroughly before adding the other ingredients. This will help you to get a smooth consistency. Then add 3 eggs to the batter. I'm cracking them in the measuring cup just so I can spot any eggshells before it goes into the batter. Whisk, whisk, whisk. Add 1 tablespoon of sugar and nutmeg. A sprinkle. Whisk some more. If you are hesitant about the nutmeg, trust me, it's amazing. No vanilla needed for this pancake, y'all. Nutmeg all the way. And ta-da! That's the New York Times recipe for a Dutch baby. Now for our adaptation, the Lady Catherine recipe. We will use 3/4 cup of all-purpose flour and 3/4 cup of milk. Again, whisk thoroughly for a smooth consistency. I found if you throw all the ingredients in a mix with a whisk, it does not turn out to be a smooth batter. For that reason, some people use a blender, but I like a good whisk. So that's why I whisk the flour and the milk together first. Once the flour and the milk mixture is smooth, add 5 eggs. Then whisk again. Add 1.5 tablespoons of sugar and some dashes of nutmeg. Whisk, whisk, whisk. Putting the cast iron pans into the 425 degree oven. This is to heat the pan and to fully melt the butter. Set a timer for about 8 minutes. When the timer's up, pull the pans out. Hear it sizzling? Swirl the pan. Coat it with butter. That will help your Dutch baby to be able to remove easily. Pour your batter into the pan. Doesn't it look delicious already? And hasn't even baked. All right, put those babies in the oven. Set your timer for 20 minutes. Then when that timer goes off, set your oven to 300 degrees Fahrenheit. Set your timer for 5 minutes. Once the timer goes off, you can now open the oven and take your Dutch baby pancake out. Look at these, y'all. Aren't they beautiful? So this is the original recipe. It's crisp on the top as well as it's pretty thin on the bottom. This one is a little thicker around the bottom. So this is the one that we put in. We didn't double it. We increased the batter by half amount, except for the eggs. The eggs, there's a little bit more eggs because we used, instead of doubling it to 3 additional, we did 2 eggs in addition. So it's 5 eggs total in this one. 3 eggs in this one. This one is a little thicker on the bottom, so it gives a little bit more, it's a little denser on the bottom, and it's really great for those of you who love that, maybe like a quiche texture. You would love this one. We are so excited to eat them, like my little boy just said. There's William. And let me show you how we prep this one to eat. Okay, so this is the secret. This is maple sugar. So yummy, so delicious. You're gonna love it on there. So it gives you a little bit of like a node to an actual pancake, but with maple sugar instead of maple syrup. So like I was saying before, this is actually what my husband grew up having on his, what they called oven pancakes. We called Dutch baby pancakes. And you sprinkle it around and just really put a good amount in there. It's so delicious. Take a bite. What do you think? Good. Grab your cup of tea and let's get going. We're gonna be planting Snapdragons Magic Carpet Blend by Botanical Interest. I've never planted these before, but I do know that they like cool weather. So it says on the back, in cold climates, 4 to 6 weeks before your average last frost date, mild climates, late summer to early fall for winter and spring blooms. So I'm a little late as far as the mild climate situation. We're in zone 7A, so we're just gonna try this out and hope that there's enough cold temperatures between now and the spring to get these going. So what I'm gonna be doing today is, I want to tell you about this first. This is my garden map from last year, but I put in a different color pin for where I'm gonna be planting the Snapdragons. If you have a garden, you can put tags, you can put all those things, but what I found best is to draw out your garden and write down where you plant everything and what it is. And you know, if you can put just like what it is in general, and then write the details over to the side if you want, what exact variety you have. It's really the best way of documenting what is where. Okay, so you can also keep it online if you prefer that method, but what I'm saying is don't just rely on tags. Simple enough. So this lovely blend is supposed to be, let's see, 6 to 8 inches tall. This variety is pretty small, so that's why they call it Magic Carpet, and I am really excited about it. I hope that it goes really well because it says light age germination. Press seeds into the soil surface. Freezing seeds for 48 hours prior to sowing also aids germination. So if you're nervous that you might not have enough cold temperatures between now and the springtime, go ahead and just put them in the freezer. I know that we're having some cold temperatures right now, and we usually do have some really cold ones in January, February here in Tennessee, and so that's why I'm going ahead and planting them now. I did not put them in the freezer beforehand. And like I said, to plant them on the top, so I'm not going to cover them with anything. Just going to find those spots to place them and just scatter them and then press them down. So join me and we're going to get these planted. I'm going to show you how tiny these little seeds are. They're so tiny. Oh my dear, they're like poppy seeds. Can you see them? So itty bitty. So be so careful when you're planting them. Not to drop them maybe where you don't want them to be. Another thing I was going to tell you is that botanical interest, if you are learning, if you're a beginner gardener, or you're just, I mean, like me, I'm constantly learning about new plants, new varieties, new flowers. Botanical interest is so educational. The inside of their packets is filled with information about the plant and like where it's native to and cultural things about it. It's really fun information. So you'll love botanical interest if you haven't chosen them already. But inside, I don't know if you can see, but there's like lots of little writing inside. It's filled with information on both sides of the inside. Hey, another thing that this says that I forgot to say is that they say to space seeds, a group of seeds every 3 inches. I just don't like being that particular. I just toss them out. When it's that specific about 3 seeds every 3 inches, I'm like, that's a really small, like 3 inches. Hi, Declan. I just throw them out there. So I just sprinkle them. If you saw, I was just kind of like doing this in kind of zigzag and circle patterns, or spiral, I guess, patterns, because I was going larger and smaller as I was circling. So that tends to work really well for me when planting flowers. Really small. They're just directions are very specific in a very small area to sprinkle seeds. When they're on the top, if you're having to put them in the ground, that's one thing. But since you're just having them be placed on top of the ground, just sprinkle them. Thank y'all for joining me today. It's been so fun. Let me know if you plant any Snapdragons or if you try the Dutch Baby Pancake and which version you like. I look forward to hearing about it. Have a great one, y'all.
I'm Joy.